In this video I'm going to cover the subject of presets. Now presets are things that we can create within Adobe Camera Raw. So what is a preset? Well, I take hundreds or thousands of pictures of birds, usually in flight, and most of these birds have plumage that includes black and white. So there's a huge contrast range of tonal variation in the image. And usually if I go in and into Adobe Camera Raw and process the images, I'm applying very similar treatments to each image. So if I'm processing hundreds of thousands of images, I don't want to have to manually adjust every single image. So the idea of a preset is we can select an image, a representative image, this shell duck in this case, which includes elements that would be appropriate for most other images. We can process that image and save the adjustments that we've made as a preset. We can then apply that preset to any number of other images, and the processing will be applied automatically to them all. So let's see how it's done. So we'll select the image, Control R into Adobe Camera Raw. We can see this is as shot and no adjustments being made. So the preset menu is here. I've already created a few presets, but that's where we're going to create a preset at the end of the processing that I'll be applying to this image. Now the thing to remember about presets is we don't want to apply any adjustments, maybe certainly white balance, because this is a as shot and there is a specific color temperature applied to that. Other birds might have different color temperatures applied to them and look correct. So I don't want things that would naturally change. I don't want a fixed setting applied to an image like that. So we need to be very limited in what we include in the preset. So exposure, well, color temperature, I leave as shot. So that whatever image the preset is applied to retains the as shot white balance setting. Exposure, I don't want to change the exposures because one or two images might be a little bit over or underexposed, and I don't want a fixed exposure or underexposure setting being applied to all of them. I'll leave the contrast as it is. But here we get to the highlights. This is where we're compressing the tonal information in the highlights, the white wing feathers and things. So I'll drag that to the left to around about 70. Shadows. Similar sort of thing for the shadows. We need to bring back information in the shadows. So I'm going to drag that to again around 70. And we've chosen this image because it's typical of the sort of adjustments that we'd need to make to every image. I'm not going to adjust the white clipping or the black clipping. Again, those are things that we need to do to individual images. But we can apply a bit of clarity, and maybe around about 20 or so clarity. I usually back the saturation off just a little bit and then boost some vibrance. And as I'm doing this, I'm just checking to see what happens to the image. So we can see the before and after. I haven't applied too much treatment to it, but just sufficient so that I don't have to do these sliders on every single image. Also, because I usually take these images at 800 ISO, purely so I can get sufficient shutter speed, I'm going to adjust the sharpening and noise reduction just sufficiently to cover the sort of noise and sharpening requirements that I normally need. So the color, noise reduction, I'll leave it as it is, but I'll probably drag the noise luminance to about 10, and I'll leave the rest as is there. Sharpening, I normally go for pre-sharpening, don't forget this is of about 40, and then I'll drag this masking slider, pressing the Alt key whilst I do this, probably to around about 70 or so, like that. Okay, so only the white areas will have the sharpening applied, the pre-sharpening applied. So those are about all the adjustments I want to make. We've got ProPhoto RGB color space setting there. The camera calibration is at process 2012. Okay, so all of these settings are relevant for new images that I'm going to process. So I'm now going to save this as a preset. So I'm going to go to the presets panel, and down here we'll create a new preset, and you can choose what settings are going to be included in this preset. Now I haven't adjusted the parametric curve, so I'm going to get rid of these. We've got all the tonal adjustments and color adjustments there. Sharpening, I want that to be applied. I don't want any of these, not that we've adjusted them, but I'm going to get rid of this, including lens profile corrections or anything like that, because I could be using lots of different lenses. So it's only those features there that I want to include in the preset. We give it a title. We'll call this black and white birds. Okay, so they've got black and white plumage. Select OK. And there we have black and white birds. We'll select Done. Now, if we bring, say, that bird and that bird, Control R, into Camera Raw, let's just select, we've got the first one selected, Shift, second one selected, we can go to our preset, and there's the black and white birds. Select that, and both images will be automatically adjusted. The basic panel and in the detail panel automatically. I'll just cancel that so that nothing is applied. It says cancel all changes, including yes. So we haven't actually changed that at all. But the great feature is, because we've now created a preset using this image, we could select an entire folder, could be thousands of images. I'm going to select the first one, select the last one, or you could select an image and Control A, which selects them all. And if we right click on any of these images, we've got a thing called Develop Settings, and down here we have all of our presets, and there's the one we've just created, black and white birds. So if I click on that one, all of these images will have the black and white type of processing applied to them. And if I open that one up now, Control R, there's all the processes applied to it. So we can apply lots and lots of different types of adjustments through the use of presets. So I'll just click on Done. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a good idea of how we can automate the raw processing, and you can see it's just going through and generating the images. But using Photoshop actions, presets in Adobe Camera Raw, we can really speed up the way we process images. So whereas people were saying the JPEG route is so much quicker, this is how we can make sure that the raw processing route is equally as fast.